This is how a former Michigan's head football coach destroyed his life in a single day. The man got fired, arrested, and charged with a felony all before dinner time. Sherrone Moore became the first black head coach in Michigan football's 145-year history, which represented a huge milestone for the program. Then, December 10th, 2025 arrived, and the university fired him for having an inappropriate relationship with a staff member. Handcuffs came hours later, and by December 12th, he was facing felony home invasion charges after allegedly barging into a woman's apartment, grabbing kitchen knives, and threatening to kill himself while she watched. The staff member he was allegedly involved with still has her job, though, which has people confused. For your information, he was making $5.5 million a year, and his 5-year contract was worth around $34 million. A wife named Kelly had been married to him since 2015, and 3 young daughters were waiting at home. Everything a man could want sat right in front of him, and he threw it all away for what we're about to get into. December 10th, 2025, brought a bombshell from the University of Michigan that nobody saw coming. Athletic Director Ward Manuel released a statement that read in part that UM head football coach Sherrone Moore had been terminated with cause effective immediately, and that following a university investigation, credible evidence was found that Coach Moore engaged in an inappropriate relationship with a staff member. Those 2 words, with cause, are doing some heavy lifting here because Moore's contract included a buyout of up to $13.89 million if they fired him without cause, but because they terminated him for violating university policy, he gets nothing. The behind-the-scenes story started back in October 2025, when the university received an anonymous tip about Moore's relationship and hired Jenner & Block, a Chicago law firm that had investigated former Michigan President Mark Schlissel in 2022. Initial findings came back inconclusive because both Moore and the woman denied any relationship existed, which is a classic move. But that changed on December 8th, just 2 days before Moore lost his job, when the woman ended the relationship and handed over receipts in the form of emails, text messages, and phone records. The evidence had become overwhelming by December 10th, and Moore was finished. This is where things go from bad career decision to genuinely disturbing criminal allegations. Police received a call at 4:10 p.m. the same day Moore lost his job, which, if you're doing the math, was actually before the university even announced his termination. I guess Moore knew he was getting fired and immediately decided to make some additional bad choices. Prosecutors laid out what happened next, explaining that after Moore learned he was being fired, he allegedly drove to the woman's apartment on the 3000 block of Ann Arbor-Saline Road and showed up unannounced. The door was unlocked and he allegedly barged inside without permission, which is basically home invasion. First Assistant Prosecutor Kati Rezmirsky outlined the allegations in court and stated that Moore immediately went to a kitchen drawer, grabbed several butter knives and a pair of scissors, and began threatening to take his own life. Moore's alleged words, according to the prosecutor, were, "I'm going to kill myself. I'm going to make you watch. My blood is on your hands. You ruined my life." Prosecutors did clarify that there's no evidence Moore directly threatened the woman with the knives or scissors, and that he allegedly pointed them at himself, at his own neck. But this was still terrifying for her, obviously. The woman managed to get her attorney Heidi Sharp on speakerphone, and when Moore heard the attorney's voice, he backed up. After the woman said she'd call police, Moore left the apartment. Saline police detained him shortly after, and he was taken to St. Joseph Mercy Health System for a mental health evaluation but wasn't admitted. By 8:30 p.m. that night, Sherrone Moore was sitting in Washtenaw County Jail. So to recap, he was fired around 4:43 p.m. and arrested before dinner. December 12th, 2025 brought Moore's formal arraignment in court, where reality really started setting in for him. 3 charges now hang over his head, and the most serious one is third-degree felony home invasion, which carries a maximum penalty of 5 years in prison and a $2,000 fine. A not guilty plea was entered on his behalf by the magistrate. $25,000 in bonds secured his release, but the conditions are basically, we're going to monitor every single thing you do. A GPS ankle monitor tracks his movements at all times. Mental health evaluation is mandatory, no firearms allowed, no alcohol, no marijuana, and he can't leave Michigan without court permission. January 22nd, 2026 at 9 a.m. is the next court date, where they'll determine if there's enough evidence to proceed to trial. Now, we need to talk about the other person at the center of this story, which is where things get complicated. Neither the university nor prosecutors have officially named the staff member involved, but multiple outlets, including the New York Post, report that the 911 call came from an address that public records show belongs to Paige Shiver. Moore's bond conditions specifically specifically ordered him to have no contact with Paige Shiver, and the Michigan Athletics website listed her as executive assistant to the head coach. The numbers get interesting here because public salary records show Shiver made $58,025 in the 2023 to 2024 fiscal year, but by 2024 to 2025, after getting promoted to executive assistant to the head coach, that jumped to $90,000. A 55% raise added $32,000 additional dollars to her compensation, which according to compensation experts quoted in various reports is unusually large for support staff. The university maintains the raise was tied to her promotion and title change, not any relationship, which sure maybe. But a 55% raise right when you're allegedly having an affair with your boss doesn't have great optics. Paige Shiver still has her job though, which really has people raising eyebrows. December 15th brought confirmation from the University of Michigan to USA Today Sports that there is no change in her employment status. The explanation comes down to university policy that places the burden of disclosure entirely on the supervisor. The policy states that immediate disclosure of the relationship by the supervisor is required, and that failure of the supervisor to disclose an intimate relationship is a serious offense and cause for discipline up to and including dismissal from employment. Because Moore was her boss, the responsibility to report fell on him alone. So he gets fired and she keeps her $99,000 a year job, which makes sense legally, I guess. The policy exists because of power dynamics, and the university acknowledges that subordinates might fear retaliation, which is fair, but let's be real for a second. Paige Shiver was his executive assistant, not some random person in a different building, and she worked directly for him for years. The idea that she didn't know about his wife and 3 kids just seems unlikely to me. After everything broke, Shiver made her Instagram private, and her X and LinkedIn accounts were either deactivated or deleted entirely. Now we need to address the OnlyFans situation because this is wild. After Moore's arrest, people started digging through his Instagram before it disappeared, and turns out Moore had been following numerous OnlyFans and Instagram models. Not illegal, of course, but maybe not the best look for a married football coach. One of those models was Mia Sorority, and December 10th brought a post from Sorority on X where she wrote, "I wasn't surprised he was all in my DMs trying to risk it all with an OF model." Her interview with TMZ came later, where she explained that she and Moore had exchanged direct messages for quite some time, and the conversations were friendly and never sexual according to her. She claimed she never felt put off, and that she was one of the many women he had such exchanges with. TMZ received a blurred screenshot as evidence. A rumor started circulating originally from Outkick that Moore had allegedly offered Sorority and 2 other OnlyFans models season tickets in exchange for a foursome after Michigan's 2024 national championship, which is a very specific allegation. Sorority shut that down on X on December 13th. Writing for clarification, Sherrone did not ask me for anything in exchange for tickets, and that story was false. So that specific rumor appears debunked. December 14th brought another claim from Sorority though, and she alleged Moore messaged her after his release from jail by posting a blurred screenshot with a timestamp of 5:50 p.m., roughly 2 hours after he walked out. She claimed Moore had turned on vanishing messages, which is definitely what innocent people do. According to Sorority, his message read, "Can't believe you just waited to attack me like that anyway. I just want to say have a blessed night, that is all." Focusing on God more and more than ever. Her comment on the post was within an hour being released from jail, "He was in my DMs blaming me instead of taking ownership of his issues." These remain allegations and the screenshots are blurred, so we only have her word for what was said. But the picture it paints shows a man who, even after losing everything, still couldn't stop making terrible decisions. Moore's Instagram and X accounts were deleted around December 12th or 13th, 2025, with multiple outlets verifying they were gone by the morning of December 13th. Moore remains out on bond with an ankle monitor tracking his every movement while he waits for his January 22nd court date to arrive. His wife Kelly was spotted with him outside his lawyer's office after his release, and the Daily Mail reported she's standing by him, which honestly just makes me sad. My heart genuinely goes out to her, and those 3 little girls who are too young to understand why their father's face is suddenly all over the news for something other than winning football games. Meanwhile, Paige Shiver continues to report to work at Michigan Athletics with her social media locked down. And Sherrone Moore himself, well, the man who made history as Michigan's first Black head coach, now faces a completely different kind of history. $5.5 million a year became potentially facing 5 years in prison, and the sidelines of a national championship program became a courtroom. Look, I try to give people the benefit of the doubt, but there's no reasonable doubt to give here. A married man with 3 kids earning millions of dollars and representing one of the most prestigious football programs in the country chose to have an affair with his own executive assistant. And when it fell apart, he allegedly barged into her apartment and threatened to unalive himself while she watched. That doesn't sound like a simple mistake to me. That's a pattern of bad choices that hurt everyone around him. Sherrone Moore had everything, and he destroyed it. Not just his own life, but his wife's, his daughter's, and even the football team that trusted him to lead with integrity. January 22nd, 2026 brings his next court date, and we'll see what happens then. So, what do you think about all of this? Let me know in the comments. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.